Hey guys, welcome back to the Trading Coach Podcast. Today, I've got a trading story that you'll never forget. It is a pretty rough one, but hopefully it comes with some lessons that will help you not make the same mistakes during your journey. By the way, this is a video episode, so you can watch this on YouTube, Spotify, and whatever other podcasting apps show the video version if you want to see my face and the fun little stuff that I put up. If not, enjoy it wherever you listen to podcast at. So the other day, I did an interview with my good buddy Etienne Cret from Desire to Trade podcast. It's an awesome interview. If you guys get a chance, make sure you check out my YouTube channel. It's under the playlist that says like special interviews and stuff. Really good episode. And after the podcast came out, I went over to his channel, wanted to read through the comments to view all the nice things people were saying about me. And I went through and did so. Although there were a few negative comments on there. Now, usually I don't respond or I give them the, hey, thanks for sharing your opinion. That's awesome, just to make the trolls mad. They hate it when you do that. But one actually sparked the inspiration for this podcast. You see, during the interview, Etienne asked me, what am I up to? And I said, hey, it's that time of the year, December, where I spend a few weeks doing continued education. Sorry if you saw any funny faces in there. I was trying to hold back a sneeze, but thanks to the magic of editing, I was able to get rid of it. But we're at that time of the year where I do some continued education, meaning that I take some time to work on myself and my trading. Sometimes I read books, sometimes I take courses, sometimes I embark on small little projects. And this year I'm getting back into strategy development. At least that is the plan. And I told him that, hey, I'm a price action trader, right? So if you know me, you know that about me, right? I'm not a big indicator person, but there's always been a part of me that always wanted to build an indicator-based system, right? If you can build an indicator-based system, it's really easy to give that to the traders that I work with at Tier 1 and say, here, plug, play, make profit, go on your way. Poof, right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I don't know why they say lemon squeezy. I've done that before making homemade lemonade and it burns a lot. But back to the point, very distracted today. I got torn to shreds because I was looking to explore indicators and real price action. Real traders don't use indicators and blah, 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 right? All the stuff I used to yell at people about back when I was young and immature. And they were missing the point, as most trolls often do. The point wasn't, hey, indicator versus price action versus fundamental. The point was that, hey, I am always on this exploration. I am always having a growth mindset. I am always looking to improve because my biggest fear is the market passing me by. Now, I don't know if it's a paranoia from being from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I always had to watch my back every single day, or it's kind of my sports background where every single day we're competing for a spot and people are literally right behind you trying to take your position. So like the moment that you slack, the moment you're being replaced. But I've always had this fear of moving backwards. I've always had this fear of losing everything that I gained. And I remember a long time ago, we had a mastermind workshop in Kansas City where I got told a horrendous story from a lady who said, hey, she spent years growing her account from very small to very big, only to pretty much blow it all. And that stuck with me for a very long time, right? At that time in my trading career, I was good, I was cocky, I was confident, I was never going to give back anything I earned. And then seeing someone who spent so much time in the game do exactly that, woof, scared the bejesus out of me. And I've always been encouraged and motivated to work because of that. So that growth mindset, that ability to always adjust and adapt, knowing that market conditions change, is extremely important if you want longevity in this game. Think about how many traders that you've seen that had this magic strategy or whatever like that, or even how many businesses in general are open for a couple months, a couple years, and you never see from them again. Well, because it's very, very, very hard to last for long periods of time. So that story, or I guess the story that the lady told me, reminded me of another story from a book that I read a very, very, very long time ago. I actually wasn't a fan of this book. This was like kind of like an industry favorite, like everyone should read it. It's a great story. I didn't really like it that much, maybe because I wasn't in the right mind space at the time. I read it when I was really young and I just wanted secret strategies and stuff like that. But the book is called Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. I think I have it somewhere. Look at that. Yes, I actually have it right here. If you're watching this on the video version, you can see it right in front of you. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. Right? Stock Operator, right? By Edwin, another word, Lefevre, right? Whatever. I trade, I don't talk. So the book, right, the title that I have problems pronouncing, was about this legendary trader named Jesse Livermore. And Jesse Livermore started trading back in 1890 something, 1891, I think it was, at the age of 14. Now, some of you guys are saying, whoa, 14, that's crazy. This is 1891, right? 14 back then was a lot older than 14 now, right? 14 back then, you're probably married with kids and probably dying 30 years later, right? 14 now, you're still a baby, maybe. I hope my kid's still a baby at 14. He's growing so quickly. Anyway, so Jesse at the age of 14 was trading in these places called bucket shops, right? Bucket shops were centers that took leverage trades, right? So you can place buy and sell orders on stocks, but you never actually physically got the stocks. It's very similar to what we talked about in the Trading Unmasked workshop last week about the A book and the B book with your brokers, right? So Jesse goes into these bucket shops, right, and he immediately starts killing it, right? He makes a 60% return on his first trade. And he's doing this over a few years, and he's bringing home $200 a week. Now remember, this is back in 1891, I think I said. So $200 is the equivalent of $7,000 a week in today's money, right? Lots of inflation has happened, right? So that's not bad for a 16-year-old, right? So he continued doing this, right, until the age of 23. And at the age of 23, he made this incredible bet, right? Where he turned, I think 10K into 50K in 5 days. And again, this is 10K of back then money to 50K of back then money. So you can do the math on what that would be now. Now, the even crazier thing is this. So after he made this incredible bet, he then predicted, and I'm going to predict it because we'll talk about that later, a market correction. And he took another position. And he took this position with about a 400% margin. And unfortunately, he lost everything. But wait, there's more. Story's not done. Afterwards, right, so after making this incredible return, 10K to 50K, and then losing it all, Jesse had a great idea. He said, I'm going to borrow money because I'm skilled. I will make it back. And he borrowed some money. He moved to a new state. I forgot where it was. I think somewhere in the Midwest. I want to say St. Louis, but don't fact check me on that. It's been a long time since I read the book. And he got back to business. Now, this time, instead of turning 10K to 50K, he turned 10K into 500K. Remember, this is 500K of back then money. But wait, guess what happened after that? He blew it again. So here's the thing, and this is why I put prediction in quotes before. Jesse had an incredible trading strategy. He had an incredible set of rules that he followed, and those rules allowed him to make these massive returns, 10 to 50K, 10 to 500K. However, he had one Achilles heel, and his Achilles heel was this. After he went through these massive periods of success, he would get comfortable, right? He would kind of get sucked back into his younger trader ways, I guess you can say. Younger trader by our standards of when you're doing a lot of dumb stuff and you think you know it all, you work off intuition. And many of these predictions that he would make after these massive gains weren't necessarily trades that should have come per his rules, but trades that he thought, that he felt, that he intuitioned, that his intuition thought would come true. And on those small little handfuls of mistakes, he would blow all the money that he earned over and over again. Pretty much he got lazy, and instead of rule following, he started going back to trading off of feel. So unfortunately, these wild swings of massive gains and blowing it all would continue throughout his career. And it took Jesse, who was an incredibly wealthy person, I think he was worth $100 million at one point, and this was back in 1929 money. So if I do the math on that, I'm not really going to do the math. I'm going to sneak to Google and figure it out and edit it out so you'll never know. That would have been worth about $1.6 billion today. Man, it's incredible that I did that in my head, isn't it? But he would earn that amount of wealth and then he would blow it all again, declaring bankruptcy over and over again. And you can imagine how stressful this cycle is. This kind of emotional and financial swing cycle took so much toll on him. He would consistently fall into like deep depressions, and eventually he committed suicide in like 1940. So I share with you that amazing yet horrible story for a few reasons, right? One is to talk to you about your trading setup, right? You can have the best strategy in the world. You can have the best rules in the world, but your trading strategy is only as good as your ability to consistently follow it. Not sometimes follow it, not once in a while follow it, consistently follow it. Or to put it in simpler terms, psychology matters. Two, no matter how much success you have, it could be gone at a Thanos snap of the finger. Not sure if that worked on video. I tried to duck and hide, thought it was being cool, probably looked stupid, but you guys get the point. So going back to how I started the podcast, this is the fear for me, right? This is the reason I'm always being creative. I'm always exploring. Yes, I am a nerd about trading. I just like playing around with things. I think the markets are cool. It's an amazing sandbox with unlimited toys and unlimited opportunities to do stuff with. And I just find that fulfilling to kind of play around and see what I can experiment with. Fun fact, many of my experiments actually get added to my trading strategy and have helped me make more money. So not a waste of time. Take that, right? But two, I'm always trying to keep up with the markets. I've understood that markets change. I started trading in 2009. It is a lot different, or Forex in 2009, stocks in 2007. It is a lot different now in 2025 than it was back then. And there's been lots of ebb and flows, and there was plenty of times where what I used to trade stopped working the way that I was accustomed to it. And if I wasn't able to adjust and adapt, I wouldn't be here speaking to you guys today as a successful trader. So I'm fearful of that. And that fear of going backwards combined with that passion of just being creative and exploring is what keeps me motivated to kind of focusing on my self-improvement each and every year. So thought it was a cool story. Wanted to share it with you guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. If you haven't done so already, make sure you support the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button. If you're listening to this on a podcast app, give me a rating, give me a review, whatever you feel I deserve. And I will see you guys next episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Adios.